What's up, hobby friends? In this video, I wanted to just sort of give you a little bit of behind the scenes glimpse of what happens behind the camera. I want to walk through how I've set up my workspace and studio, and then how I have everything organized to help both improve and make my workflow just a little bit more efficient. I'm very much a form follows function kind of guy. I try and keep my workspace relatively clean and clutter-free. Everything has a place and I try and organize everything by its use. The room is broken down into a couple of different areas. When you walk in immediately, the first thing you see are my two display cabinets. And then moving around the room, I have my computer desk, my painting desk, my photography station, and then my Cricut Station onto the very, very right. So my time is pretty evenly split between working at the computer desk, where I'm doing all of the video editing and splicing together all the content that I'm recording that go up on YouTube and Patreon. And then the other half is spent at my painting station, where I'm actually creating the content that I'm recording. My computer layout itself is actually pretty simple, fairly clean. I have the tower to the far left of the desk, with all of my wires being managed behind and underneath my desk, stretching all the way to my painting station, where I have my webcam and microphone set up. Both my computer monitor and my Cintiq, which doubles as my second monitor, are clamped and mounted to the desk via a monitor stand. And these have two articulating arms that allow me to swivel the two monitors freely. And this is actually very useful, particularly for the big monitor on the right. Being able to swing the monitor to where my painting station is allows me, especially when I'm recording via Streamlabs, to monitor what I'm seeing and real time make sure everything's in focus, everything is framed properly. And in combination with my wireless peripherals, I can essentially adjust all of my settings on the fly without having to move between my painting desk and my computer desk. Speaking of peripherals, I'm using a Logitech wireless keyboard and gaming mouse. The mouse is the G502 Lightspeed Hero. Really good gaming mouse, great battery life, which I love. And the fact that it's wireless, as I mentioned before, allows me to move between my computer desk and my painting desk without having to worry about wires or any sort of that mess on the table. I love to listen to movies and music playing in the background. To do this, I have a pair of wireless headsets. If the content or the audio that I'm playing is running off of the computer, I have the G935 headset from Logitech. If I'm not listening to my computer audio and I'm using audio off of my phone instead, I have a set of noise-canceling headphones from Bose. This is connected to my phone via Bluetooth. Because it's wireless, it allows me to move around my space without being locked into a particular location because of the wiring. The Mousepad is something I liberated from Adepticon. This would have been 2017. When we were helping them clean up the hall, I may or may not have definitely taken one for myself. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. They actually had these in between each gaming table as extra space for people to have their books, their dice, their models, both in reserve and I guess dead. Just as extra storage space. I really love the design. The neoprene material makes a really good mouse pad, and although it attracts a lot of cat hair, I really love just the size of it and how useful it is as a mouse pad. The painting desk is by far where I spend the most time in this room, and much like the computer desk, I try and keep it as organized and clean and free of clutter as possible. The only things I really keep on the desk overnight that don't get packed away when I'm not working at the station are things I use on a regular basis. The Frankenstein setup that you see right above the painting station is essentially my solution for getting my lights, my camera, as well as paper towel stuff, everything basically mounted in the space, and much like the computer station, to get everything off of the desk itself and give me as much horizontal space to work with. I ended up having to jury rig a solution that allowed me to have wall-mounted lamps and other peripherals in a space where there is a window. So basically, I grabbed a couple of wooden boards and I just screwed them into the wood frame using some wood screws. And this allows me to wall mount these Ikea lamps, this paper towel holder. I can have my power bar for easy access, as well as this articulating arm clamp for the webcam. The only thing that I really have clamp mounted to the desk is the microphone. And this is just mainly because of reach and more so for space. I don't really have a lot of room on the left side for another mount for the microphone without it getting in the way of the power bar. And because I need the microphone to be able to swivel back and forth between the paint station, the desk, and everything in between, it just made sense and it was easier to be able to have this mounted to the desk. So the lights I'm using both over the painting area as well as the photography booth are just the cheap Ikea lamps. They're $15 each. You can mount them either to a wall or use the exact same mount with a clamp to desk mount them. The bulbs I use are LED low wattage energy efficient bulbs from Philips. The webcam I'm currently using to record all of my content is the Logitech Brio, and I like it because it's a 4K webcam. I have picked up a Panasonic Lumix, but I haven't invested in a cam link yet, and I don't have a mounting solution that can mount the heavier camera in the space that I currently have. So for the time being, I'm going to stick with the Logitech Brio. Down below, I pretty much have two main organizational sections. Right by my feet is my compressor and all of the paints I use. So I have a couple of Green Stuff World paint cases for all of my acrylics. And then beside that, I have a couple of cases that have things like my contrast washes, my gouache watercolor paints, as well as all of my oil paints. I also have the basic materials I use most often down here. And this easy access right by my feet just lets me be able to pick up the paints I need or to pick up the supplies I need right away when I'm working on painting a project. To the right of that, I have all of my hobbying supplies. I have my hobby toolkit to the right, neatly packed up, so if I want to go mobile, I can. And then beside that, I have a 3-tier shelf with all of my airbrushing, crafting, and basing materials as well. The backdrop for my photography station is just an image I pulled off of Google and printed on a large 36 by 24 sheet of paper. It has seen some heavy use. It is getting torn and crinkled in a lot of places, so I need to look into something a little more permanent and a little more durable to replace for the future. But for now, this works. I light the space with another pair of Ikea lamps, also mounted to the wall just like my paint station. The bulbs are the same bulbs in the painting station. They're a pair of Philips 1600 lumens, 5000 Kelvin temperature bulbs to give me the cleanest color I can and eliminating any shadows when I'm photographing my miniatures. On the desk back here, I have my Cricut Station set up. I do a lot of scratch building and I work a lot with plasticard, and I found that rather than cut everything by hand, I'd rather have the Cricut maker do it for me. For those of you who don't know, it's very, very easy just to use a vector file like Adobe Illustrator to create basically the cuts and the shapes that you need, and to then fire it off to the Cricut maker to let it do all the cuts for you. I used to have this Cricut set up between my computer station and my painting station, and this was because I used my computer tower to create all of my files and I could directly load it into the Cricut without having to move back and forth. But I found that this created a lot of clutter on my desk, and I didn't like having the Cricut sort of cutting away while I'm also painting and trying to record. So it just made sense to move the Cricut to the back of the room. I create all of my vector files on my computer, and then I transfer them to my laptop where I can then load it into the Cricut and have it cut away while I'm free to work at my painting station, unimpeded by extra clutter that I don't need on my desk. Both of my display cabinets are from a manufacturer called Techno Display, and these are actually the same cases that Games Workshop uses in their hobby stores. And I like them for two reasons. They have a lot of real estate space in terms of each shelf being able to carry quite a lot of miniatures compared to something like the Ikea D12. The second is the adjustable shelves. Because of the way that they are mounted into the cabinet, you can adjust the height of each of the shelves to match what you have or want to display within each cabinet, which gives you a lot of freedom and flexibility in terms of what you're able to store and display in the cabinets. I've got one shelf arranged for all of my skirmish games, including Infinity and Marvel miniatures, and including some collections for games that I no longer play, like the Batman miniature game and Guild Ball. I have a shelf dedicated to work in progress stuff and models I have in queue, as well as one shelf for my Junk Force Overlords, which does take up a 2-stack because of how high the vehicles are. The next 3 shelves spread across both cabinets are for my display miniatures, both old and new, my Necron collection, and my Nighthaunt collection, with the bottom 2 levels of both cabinets reserved for storage and stuff that I am going to be working on, but probably not within the next 2 or 3 months. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you enjoyed this little tour of my workspace studio. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out my other social media accounts. Until next time, happy hobbying.